Good morning, good afternoon, scholars and families. Happy Test Prep Friday! And you know what that means? You have an extended response due today. Yet, do not fret. I'm here with an exemplar response and our prompt from last week to take a look and review what are some things that are required of me as a scholar, as a writer, when responding to an extended response prompt. So, last week's prompt asked, up to this point in the story, Sam has acted in many ways on Frightful's behalf. How do Sam's actions in chapter 13 help Frightful? Do they help or harm her? So my response to this question is definitely going to be my overall argument. Again, my response to this question is going to be my overall argument. Then I'm asked in more detail to have an introduction sentence and then explain 2 reasons why Sam's actions help or harm Frightful. That means 2 supporting reasons for my overall argument. That means that I need 2 separate claims to support my overall argument. 2 claims translates into 2 paragraphs. Of course, I have to use text evidence. That goes without saying, or at least you would think, and then a concluding sentence. Let's see how that translated onto Emily's work and how she was able to submit a complete response, and then, most importantly, get 100. So, the first thing I'm being asked to do is have an introduction sentence. I know that my introduction sentence is going to have my overall argument. Let's take a look at Emily's. You may think Sam's actions help Frightful, especially when he continually tries to calm her with his words. However, Sam's actions in chapter 13 harm Frightful. So it's very clearly stated what her stance or what her response to this question is, that Sam's actions harm Frightful. And so that is clear as day. Now we just want to make sure that her 2 claims or her 2 paragraphs also support that thinking. I'm going to put a check on the prompt as well so that we're keeping track to make sure that Emily did everything she needed to do to get 100. Great. So introduction sentence is done and her overall argument has been stated. So I'm not going to read the whole paragraph, but we're going to look at that first sentence to make sure that the claim supports the overall argument. She says, when Sam tries to get Frightful to move by taking Oxy with him, it did nothing but put Oxy in distress. And Frightful is probably confused. So this first sentence here is the supporting reason as to why she is arguing that Sam's actions harm Frightful. That makes sense. And she goes on to support with evidence. So I'm going to give her another check. Or at least 1 here. Let's see if she earns another one on her next body paragraph. The next claim to her next body paragraph says, when Sam goes to try and take Oxy from Frightful, but they are in the middle of trying to keep warm in the storm with each other. So it seems like the idea is that Frightful is, again, disrupting Sam, and she goes on to explain that a little bit more in her reasoning within the paragraph. So I'm going to highlight she gives me 2 reasons, and I'm going to give her a second check over here. Okay. She uses text evidence in both paragraphs. Here I can see she states on page 157. I also see on page 159. Here I see on page 55. Here I see on page 155. So I'll give her 2 checks because she used evidence in both paragraphs as well. The last thing she needs, and it was 2 pieces of evidence per paragraph, let's be clear. The last thing she needed was a concluding sentence. Obviously, your concluding sentence is going to wrap up your overall argument, and your claims. It doesn't have to be anything fancy for your extended response. She wraps up saying all these actions harm Frightful because she could have just been left alone in peace, but Sam didn't realize that. And I really don't want anything more than this. This is enough and this is sufficient, and I'm going to give her her last check. So it's not as hard as you think. Make sure that you are reading the question carefully, that you have your overall argument in your mind before drafting your introduction sentence. I like that she hooks the reader in with a quick sentence so it doesn't make her response too long. And she's very clear and thorough with her thinking and supports with evidence and reasoning. Make sure to reach out if you're having any trouble with your extended response. And I'm hoping to grade lots of hundreds today. Enjoy your weekend and have a good one. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.